Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Well, thanks, Jim.
Larry, a news release was cranked out by American Manganese this morning. What was in it?
Well, we were just talking about our results to date on the Pier 1 testing that we're doing, at least on one of the companies. And it's interesting that it seemed to have a positive effect on the market. We've traded 650,000 shares between the U.S. and Canada. So that's what we like to see. Now, I've had a few questions about the press release. We explained in the press release what we did, and but there are some nuances that people want me to address, and so I'm going to try to run through those right away. One, I think the sample weight was 4 kilograms or something, or 5 kilograms. And that was done on a bench scale before we run it through the pilot plant. But we did find some impurities in there that we weren't sure if they were. Some of those elements were not used in the formulation of the Pier 1 company. So we had to stop everything. Now that we only went through this once. You know, we just ran it through, got these results back, and another question that came up was, who all are we using for the lab testing? We use an outside assay service to give us the assays, and but Chemetco does everything, and so it's under their, I guess it should say, their prevalence that the results come out. Now, the recovery rate results were on a first pass basis. There's obviously, I just mentioned, there were impurities in there, and Chemetco said it was in their words, high quality nickel cobalt hydroxide, but that doesn't mean it's a battery ready hydroxide. Remember, this is just the first test. So, but, for the results we got high numbers. And now we'll move ahead to improve those numbers, which we kind of explained in the press release. And there was, I'm just trying to think of all the questions that were asked, that I was hoping that I would be able to address. And, one of the questions was the large strips that they sent the material in. Yes, that is a bit of a problem because larger strips tend to fold over, and you can't get all of the cathode material out. We have, when we prepare the strips, we have a certain size we go to, and we get the majority of the cathode material off of the aluminum strips. So that's a lesson learned. We're going to have to do some extra treatment on the strips in the future to reduce the size, because it would be nice to work with larger sizes, but the unfortunate thing is that aluminum is so thin that it can crumple over. When it crumples over, it's not exposing the cathode materials to the actual process, so you're not getting it all back. So that will change. We do all the testing with Chemetco, and I think that's about all I can remember on what the questions were. So the percentage amounts were excellent as far as we're concerned. As far as Chemetco's concerned, those are those words, their words, not mine. And so we proceed on. So the one thing that I'd like to remind our shareholders of is the fact that we do a lot of reporting on our results, which you're not seeing in any of our competitors out there. And I bring that up because I'm always asked to compare, our results to other competitors out there, and I won't name them, but they're not coming forth with what they're getting back on the cathode material, except for broad numbers on recycling, and so we can't really compare our process to anybody else's unless they've filed a patent. We can go look at it. We can see that they're actually using other methodologies, and this is a personal and Chemetco observation, which we feel are inferior to ours. But we're moving along, and unfortunately, we're testing a different material than we've tested in the past, being prepared by companies that do their own preparation on it, which may not jive with our preparation. So we're learning lessons, and this lesson that we learned is that we should be able to report some battery grade material here in the next short while. Now, the reality is that we are trying to get the best results we can for Tier 1 companies. We want to turn this around to them in a form that will be conducive to perhaps some kind of a agreement in the future. So I can't say that I'm not unhappy with the results in the market today. The results show that the company is striving forward, and that we are looking after the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So all I can really say is, hey, I'm happy with the results, and Chemetco's happy with the results. We've got the questions answered, and we can proceed now to actually work strictly on recoveries and purities. So that's the next step. In the general market, we were reported in the waste management newsletter. So that'll be attached to this press release. We do get a lot of third-party reporting from different sources around the world, and that is, obviously we have believers in the right industry that are following our story. So there's nothing more that I can tell you that should reinforce the value of what we're doing. We're not paying for that, and it's just being carried on by people that are reporting because they like what we're doing, and the reputable companies are doing the reporting. So it's I had a whole bunch of questions asked, and that usually throws me off my sauce when I'm doing a podcast, because I have some formulations in my mind and what I'm going to talk about, but when I have to refer back to other people's questions, that makes me stutter a bit, but we see that in our own Prime Minister, so I got good company that way. So,
Larry, for people new to American Manganese, what are you all about?
Well, we're a critical metals company that developed a process back in 2009 to 2011 for treating low-grade manganese, and that process is patented in 4 countries, and Chemetco recognized that the chemistries were pretty much the same for the cathode materials and lithium-ion batteries, so we began work in 2016, and since then we've had 2 patents, and we got a 3rd one coming. And, that one is, that's really a big advancement. I can't think of any other company out there that has, at least has divulged what they're doing in a manner that you could follow and see that, hey, these are their recoveries and these are what they're doing. It's always, like I say, broad statements. So we're moving ahead with the recycling of lithium-ion batteries, and we're traded on the Venture Exchange, the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture, under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF. And we're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. So we have a website out there where you can do all your due diligence. A lot of the questions I get asked are answered in the due diligence, but we don't mind helping you through that. And you can phone us at 778-574-4444, or you can send me an email at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com.
Larry, thanks for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on October 25th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.